Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. So Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans came out in 1927 and was directed by F.W. Murnau and stars Janet Gaynor and George O'Brien. And obviously being from 1927, this is a silent film, so there's no talking in it. Most of the film is completely silent with an orchestral theme playing in the background, although we do occasionally get some letters come up on the screen when a character says something important. So in this film, none of the characters actually have names. So at the start of the film, they're actually just billed as the man, the wife, the woman from the city, the maid, etc., and just these generic names for these characters. This film really focuses on the two main characters, the man and the woman, and they're a married couple and they have a child, but the man is often seen going off with this other woman behind the wife's back. So the man and this other woman, they want to escape from the country and go off to live in the city. So the man then says to the woman, but what about my wife? So then the other woman says, why don't you drown her? So the man then takes the wife out on a boat trip and plans to drown her, but then eventually decides that no, he doesn't want to do this, and they end up passing a church and they basically fall in love all over again. So this story really is very simple, but obviously bear in mind this is a film from the silent era, so lots of these films had to be very simple. And although this film does tell a very simple story, it does it extremely well and is actually a really nice film to watch and a really fantastic movie altogether. One of my favourite scenes actually in this film is when the man and the wife, they go to this fun fair, and at the fun fair a pig escapes. So the pig is running around through the fun fair and everybody is trying to catch the pig. And the pig runs into this kitchen and comes across some alcohol and then gets drunk and falls over. And eventually everybody finds the pig again and everyone's happy. Just one of those really funny sequences in a film that doesn't necessarily really important to the plot, but there's a few sequences like this which just make the film really entertaining to watch. And although this is a fairly short film, it's only about 90 odd minutes, it's very fast paced, it went very quickly, and it just tells a very nice story about these two characters and their relationship. So obviously being a silent film, since there's no real dialogue, a lot of what is important is body language and facial expressions. And the facial expressions in this film are amazing, particularly with Janet Gaynor. She is very good in this film. Her facial expressions really show absolutely everything to do with her emotions, just conveys her emotions really well. She'll either be smiling or she'll be looking sad, and depending on when the camera is focused on her, you can instantly tell how she's feeling and what she's thinking about the overall situation. And it's the same situation with George O'Brien's character as well. He's exactly the same. There's lots of scenes in this film where he is angry or when he suddenly turns angry, and the film does a really good job with the camera work in terms of showing us as the audience how we're supposed to feel about the situation and what these different characters are feeling at the same time. I must also say the lighting is very good in this film. Obviously being a silent film, you might not expect the lighting to be particularly special. Obviously it was filmed in black and white as well, but it's just a very good looking film. And in the sequences when it's in the country, you get some of the moonlight on screen and it just really looks fantastic. And then as we move into the city, we really feel the hustle and bustle of what is going on as the two characters move from the countryside into the city, and we as the audience view their relationship in a different way as this couple go to lots of different events. And there's a brilliant scene where they're dancing together and when they're in a restaurant, and then they also go to a barber's where we see a really very funny scene happen as well. This is a very light-hearted film, although it does have a few darker elements in it. Obviously, I did mention that the man does plan to drown the woman near the start of the film. Really, for the most part, it's actually a very enjoyable film. And this was the first time that I'd ever seen it, and I was very impressed. I have only seen a few silent films in my life so far. I do plan to watch more, but this is definitely one of the better ones. It's hard to say whether it's the best, but it is a very well regarded film, and it's gained a reputation as being not only one of the best silent films, but one of the best films of all time. In 2012, Sight and Sound magazine actually named this the number 5 on the greatest films of all time. I can certainly see why, because this film is over 90 years old, but you wouldn't think it when you're watching it. This film didn't win the Oscar for Best Picture, that actually went to Wings, but Janet Gaynor did win the Oscar for Best Actress, although she didn't win the Oscar just for this film, because in those days the Oscar was given for a few films. So if an actor or an actress won an award, it wouldn't just be for one film, it would be for a few films. Obviously, Janet Gaynor was a fairly popular actress at the time, so she was in quite a few other films during that year as well. Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, if you haven't seen this film, I would recommend it. What I have behind me is the Masters of Cinema collection. It has a DVD and Blu-ray edition, and you can watch it in 2 versions. You can watch the movie tone version or the Czech version. Both versions are very similar. The movie tone version has a slightly slimmer aspect ratio, which is 1.2 to 1, whereas the Czech version has an aspect ratio of 1.37 to 1, which is the traditional Academy ratio. The reason for the difference is to make room for the film print, for the music and for the film, because the Czech version was originally silent, but the movie tone version had a film score for it. So it's very interesting. And also in the Czech version, that version is actually slightly shorter. So the Czech version 79 minutes, the movie tone version 93 minutes. So just bear that in mind. But I watched the movie tone version just out of interest, just because it was the American release of it. So feel free to watch either and let me know what you think. So all in all, I'm going to give Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans a rating of 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the best silent films I've ever seen, and it's a very easy watching film, and also has a fantastic ending. Not that I'm going to spoil it for you, but the film ends really well. So there we go. That is Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. So what do you guys think? Have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.